What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another solo leveling Arise video. Alright guys, as I am finishing up WoBL on normal mode with my hunters, we are going to actually take a look at Alpha Leaker's brand new video on Nato's channel. Now at this point, some people have been asking me what the hell is going on with Nato and Alpha Leaker. I have no idea what their arrangement is. I believe what I'm understanding is Nato's channel will be used by Alpha Leaker to promote his leaks and will kind of be his go-to channel, I guess, going forward. Hey, listen, I have no idea, alright? I don't know what's going on. I'm not in any inner circles here of all this talk, so I'm gonna let Nato and Alpha Leaker do their thing. They're adults, they know what they're doing. So my part is I want to go over the actual video. So first off, I will post a video on the description of my video, so make sure you go check out the original, give it a like, give a subscribe, and show some love to Alpha Leaker for doing all that extra work for us to show us what to expect. Now remember, like anything else that we look at in regards to leaks, it can be subject to change at any time. We know a lot of changes have happened, and I'm going to go through a couple of those changes to prove to you guys that anything can go. So make sure you guys are not taking everything to heart, and that changes are very, very common. So let's talk about a couple of the changes while I'm doing this. So first thing we know, one of the big changes was, of course, Yun being originally a breaker and then changing to a non-breaker. We know Go's whole entire kit was revamped and changed. So those are two simple ones to talk about. There's other things along the way that have happened as well too. So remember, leaks are just there to provide us some sort of guidance, or at least a view of what to expect when the content does release. So let's go into what we're going to be looking at going forward. That was crap garbage drops, by the way. Not marble. God damn it, guys. You guys nerf normal so bad in terms of drops. Maybe not nerf, but you know what I mean. It just doesn't give very good drops anymore. Okay, guys, without further ado, let's go into it. Here's the video. I will go ahead again, link it to you guys. I want to go through this together, talk about it now. Some of my predictions were actually correct, which is great. It is going to be wind element weakness, but the surprise here, to be honest, is the surprise that it's actually not light, it's going to be dark. So let's go through all this.
Hello YouTube, this is Alpha Leaker again, bringing you guys some more info regarding the new workshop of Brilliant Light mode extension. I worked a lot on this video, so I hope it helps you guys when it drops, and it will help you in the workshop of Brilliant Light mode and prepare for it. But first
So with that being said, he did work very hard, guys. Go click on the original video. It's in the description. Go like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Show the man some love. He's the only leaker that I currently know that's as active as he is and giving us all this information, okay?
Must mention, as always, that everything is subject to change, especially info that might be outdated or data that might have been scrapped and stuff like that. So yeah, guys, without further ado, let's go into the video.
This is the Alpha Leaker that I know.
Shout out to my Patreons once again. Thank you guys for the help. By the way, if you want to know, Patreons get early previews of the videos themselves before they uploaded a couple of hours early. That's just a bonus that we give them. So yeah, let's begin. Here is a rundown basically of each floor in its gimmicks, as well as some gameplay footage from each one of them. So let's begin. The first thing that I need to describe is that this time it has one more stage, more than the Vulcan one. In the Vulcan you have 3 main stages and 2 blessings. This time you have 4 main stages and 2 blessings. The 4 main stages are now, you have Mitas, you have Isil, you have Kaiser, and you have Baron. So yeah, we can now go over each floor and its weaknesses, its gimmicks and stuff like that. And
alright, so just so you guys are aware, so it is Methus as the first boss, Isil as the second boss, Kaisel as the third boss, and then Baron as the fourth boss. Alright, so 4 bosses, 2 blessing stages, 4 stages of
the most important info that you guys have been requesting to know and stuff like that is what are their weaknesses, what are they strong against. So here it is. The new extension for Workshop of Brilliant Light is weak against wind and dark.
So wind and dark. Okay, so I want to make sure everybody understands this. It's weak and dark to start. I'm gonna take a wild guess here and say that when we get to hard mode version, you're probably gonna have light in there as well too. That's a guess. That's my take on it, but we'll see if that changes. It could also change to light and
but
wind. But
they are strong against water, which means that water units will not be usable in the new mode. So yeah, let's begin with floor 75 meters. This is basically the most annoying floor in the new workshop. Mitus' gimmick is pushing the character away. Of course, I'm talking other than its normal gameplay from what we already have in story. And when it pushes you away, it basically creates a circular minigame area around himself, and the camera goes up down. And then the player has to collect 4 or was it 5 circles, magic circles, before the charge ends to finish the fight and basically break Metis. While
I love that. Listen, I don't know about you guys, but I love these gimmick fights because it makes a player not just play auto and just mindlessly do nothing. That's most mobile games. I love that SLA takes it to another level and makes the games very similar to any action RPG or any, PC version of MMOs where things are gimmicks, things are structured a certain way where you have to do the specific format fight in order to beat it. I hate when games are just pure auto mode and you can't, there's a time and place for that. This is not one of them. So I'm glad they're actually making these kind of gimmicks because this will take away from bots, farming, this will take away from anything like that happening. Players actually have to
try to collect the magic circles. Metis slashes around himself to damage the player, which means you have to have a lot of dashes to dodge all of theirs. Okay. While trying your best to actually collect all the
So Wu's going to be amazing for this as a support.
This is the first stage. After that, when you lower his HP again, he does the minigame again, but this time instead of doing slashes around you when you try to collect the magic circles, he actually does a shockwave. If you don't time your dodges perfectly, the shockwave will push you out of the minigame area and will do tons of damage to you, similar to Cerberus AoE, if you remember from the Workshop of Brilliant Light, where he does a tornado around himself.
Okay, cool.
So this is basically the gimmick around Metis.
Loving it.
It doesn't have anything special. The blessing area, the 2 blessing areas in this new extension are both pretty much the same. You have 5 stages of waves that you have to clear.
5 stages?
Of the skeletons. Wow. It's annoying, it's hard, it's not that horrible. I think most people will be able to clear it pretty easily. The gimmicks are a little bit hard.
Wait, which one is it off? Annoying, hard, or easy?
Damage, and if you don't time it perfectly, you will die. So now let's go on to flow 80 Isil. Isil is an assassin basically with 2 main stages. In the first stage, she mainly uses laser beams from drones that she can spawn and sword attacks. She dashes around a lot, so again you need to use a lot of dashes. She does special attack after you lower her HP enough, which then she charges into the sky.
So those crystals are her break point, essentially.
Animation that you guys saw in the new Baron teaser video that they did a while back.
She seems like an easy fight.
So basically, after she does that, she starts bombarding the entire area with abilities, and you have to dodge all of them. And then she goes back down. After you break her again, she then goes into a crouch state and starts shooting everywhere in a circular area, and she creates crystals around herself. You have to destroy those crystals in order to break her, and then you will be able to finish the stage. It is a very annoying stage again because you have to use a lot of dashes, but it is fun. I have to say,
that's a cool move, man.
In this general Workshop of Brilliant Light extension, they decided to go in the direction of doing a lot of abilities and gimmicks that you have to dodge, you have to time perfectly, and you have to hit them.
I like that.
I think this is fun, I have to say. I'm interested to seeing your guys' reactions because I can imagine the amount of anger this is gonna cause to some players to rage quit even, maybe, from them.
I'll be real with you guys, this is the exact thing I want from SLA. I want this level of complexity, I want this level of challenge. I know a lot of free-to-play players are going to be angry, a lot of players in general are going to be angry, whales or not. Listen, it's one thing to make it impossible, it's another thing to make it difficult. And I love difficult challenges. Being an ex-WoW player, being an ex-MMO player for Final Fantasy 11 or EverQuest, etc. This is the kind of stuff that gets me kind of amped up because it reminds me of those days where you actually had to pay attention, and one wrong move, it's over, right? So if you guys know anything about me, I love the frustration, I love the challenge, and I just keep going at it until I figure it out. So this is a very, very cool concept to me that SLA is doing, and it's going to make it more of a legit game when it comes to console and Steam, because this is now becoming more of a PC game than a mobile game, in my opinion, because this is how a lot of the PC games are structured, not mobile games. Again, the auto system for mobile is very common. This is not doing the same path, which is, I think, a fantastic direction for the game to go.
Amount of damage that it does. So yeah, this is basically Isil. She is very fun, by the way, to fight against, in my opinion. But yeah, let's go on to Kaizo. Kaizo is the dragon, the wyvern, that Baron rides, if you don't know.
So
that.
badass looking, man.
His main attack pattern is Baron riding on him, and then they do a teleport to the left side of the screen, and then he does a wing attack on you. You have to dodge the second that you see the teleport happening. And then he does mainly light beam attacks and lightning storms. Pretty usual stuff, to be honest, not something that I can warn about that you have to dodge.
Yeah, I mean, this is
The
very
main
similar to the
gimmick
guild
of this
boss.
stage is the fact that when you lower his HP enough, similar to other stages, he goes into a spatial stage where he and Baron starts absorbing all of the energy around the area.
That was cool.
When
That was
they
so
do
cool.
that, you have to start collecting all of the energy orbs that appear before they do, because if you don't, they're gonna do a huge attack and basically almost one-shot you. And if you do manage to get all of them, it breaks the characters and then you can finish the fight. It's a quick fight, to be honest, in my opinion, unless they buffed it before release. But yeah, now we can go on to the main stage that everyone is interested in, which is floor 100.
So I think Kaisel is meant to be a fast fight because it's just supposed to knock Baron's off the Kaisel and then you fight Baron. I think that's kind of the goal. That's always been the goal.
100 is a very, very gimmicky floor, I have to say.
Nice.
I think they might have overdone it, but still fun. Similar to Vulcan, he also has multiple stages. In the first stage, he mainly uses a sword and lightning attacks. He dashes around you and starts doing lightning attacks, AoEs around the map. You have to dodge all of them perfectly. Again, some of them are easier to dodge. And then he does the main special gimmick of the first stage, which means he teleports into the back of the stage, and then he starts
Oh, that's a little
throwing
cheesy looking,
balls
actually.
of
Never mind.
lightning onto you. Now, what do I mean by that? You can imagine walls flying onto you, and they have certain
like how the walls
areas
look.
where you can pass through them, which means you have to
edges.
start dashing
could've made them more
around
like
the walls
lightning.
to get into the opening in
straight.
the mazes to be able to dash through them and go through them. Of course, you can dash to dodge the wall itself, but again, you're gonna waste a lot of dodges and you have to time it perfectly. So I would recommend when he starts doing this stage, go to the furthest part away from him and then manage to just walk between the gaps in the wall.
So far, the fight looks incredible,
And
guys.
yeah, after you do that, he goes into a giant mode similar to Vulcan, and he starts slashing the sword around the map. You have to dodge it, it's pretty easy to dodge. And then he does the insta-kill thing, where you
There you
have
go.
to go
Look
into a
at that.
safe
That
area.
looks
The
so
safe
cool.
area this time is actually
Yo!
Isel, which appears on the map and does a shield around that area, and you have to dash quickly into that area to be able
Isel,
to
look at
survive
Isel
the
helping you
one-shot
out.
attack.
That's so
And this
boss,
was only
bro.
the first stage. The second stage is when you kill him, actually drop him to 0 HP, he comes to life again, this time with daggers. Now you're wondering probably what it means. Basically, he now goes into stealth a lot. He dashes a lot onto you, so again, dashes are gonna be needed for this extension.
There you
like,
go.
Very
Let's
much.
go.
I can see people using Wujin Chul a lot, especially for the extra dashes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, who's gonna be great in this?
So basically, he teleports around a lot, and then the special gimmicks in this stage is similar to the Dark Assassin, the SR one, where you fight in story and he does like the multiple teleports around you, and then you have to time the dodge perfectly to dodge it. He does the same exact attack multiple times, so this is gonna be hard for a lot of players because this does a ton of damage. It's probably gonna one-shot you, but I still think you guys will enjoy it. It goes into a berserk stage after that and starts doing
He looks insane with those
lightning
daggers.
abilities that are aimed exactly at you, that actually follow your movement and stuff like that. And yeah, after you kill him now, you finish the fight itself. So yeah guys, this was a rundown of the actual new workshop of Brilliant Light, all of its floors, its main gimmicks. I'm sorry that it took so long to release this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.
Alright, oh my god, there's a lot of dissect here. So, first off, shout out to Alpha Leaker again for this hard work. I appreciate you, bro, for doing this for us for the longest time. So please, guys, again, go like the video, subscribe, show him some love. That was a lot. So let's break this down a little bit, okay? First off, let's go through the basic stuff. You're going to need to build Dark, hence the two new characters coming out. They're going to be essential for this. it is what it is. We know this is going to happen, and we know that this was going to be expected. All right. Wind, we already have a pretty decent amount of units for. We already have West Wind available to us, for at least some of us do. So for free-to-play players, we are going to struggle here a lot. This is going to be a gimmicky place. The gimmicks aren't the problem. The problem is going to be the power requirement and the timer to beat it. That's always going to be the main issue, right? And I think one of the main things to remember about this game is it's a power check. Through and through. It's a power check through and through. Skill, you may have all the skill in the world, but if the math doesn't math, you're not going to beat it, right? So I feel like a lot of people are going to be left behind in the dust. Unless Netmarble needs to really do something about that, where they're going to be able to help even the average player to at least be able to do this floor and try the new content. Because I think that's the key thing, right? It's one thing to be able to beat the content, but it's a whole other thing to be able to have entry to the content. And that's going to have to be something that Marvel really thinks about, because there are a lot of people who still can't do normal mode, WoBL Vulcan. And there's a lot of people who are just joining and haven't even had an opportunity to try easy mode, let alone WoBL in general. So yes, there should be a level of difficulty for all players, but there also needs to be a form of entry for all players as well, where they don't feel like they're left behind. I think the worst thing you can do for any player is leave them behind, right? Because at one point we're all a community, and at one point Netmarble also needs to remember that. So they have to allow the point of entry for these new places to be available to everybody, right? Not beatable, just available. I think that's a very important part. Now, number two, the main thing here is we purposely don't have very good dark units outside of Libora, now a semi-SM Beck, depending where you have them in advancement. So these two new units are essential. The big issue now is a lot of people are now avoiding to summon for these young children characters. I'm not going to use the other word anymore because I didn't know what it meant until now. So I'm going to stop using that word. So now it's going to be a matter of how do we repair this issue? If people are not going to pull and spend money on these characters purposely to boycott the fact that they're young children in a world that really doesn't have young children, any business for young children to be in it, how do you guys, as Netmarble, reprimand this, right? So I feel like, and I have a strong feeling, that a lot of people are not going to summon for these characters from what I'm seeing, or may completely boycott this until they release a new character that will either appease what they're looking for, or, bring some love to the character genre again, where right now there seems to be a lot of complaints. Another problem I have with this is I wish they went with light instead of dark. I don't think dark is ready to take the limelight yet. So I kind of was hoping that they would split these WoBL floors up to one a month. So it would have been Methys and Isel coming out, and then it would have been Kaisel and Baron at the end of the month, giving people an opportunity to build up their units in time to get there. I mean, it's not the end of the world that it's all coming at once. It's just going to discourage a lot of players who can't even get to Kaisel or beat Methys, right? So I think that would have been a better idea, just splitting it up. This content, I get it. People want new content, and this is new content, but at the end of the day, you got to also cater to the average players, because the majority of your players are not hardcore. That's like a 10%. The 90% are average players, and the average player is going to struggle with this very heavily, and perhaps quit from frustration. So again, Netmarble, you gotta do this somewhat right. Now, the encounters themselves, again, my opinion, amazing setup. I love gimmicks. I love things where you have to do certain aspects of the game to beat a boss, or avoid certain things to not get one shot. There's of course a limit to that, right? There is the gimmicks, and then there's the impossibility aspect of it. Don't make it impossible. If it's gimmicks that's doable and it's just skill related, that's great. If it's like a paywall where if you don't have X amount of HP, defense, whatever the case may be, then there's an issue. And then lastly, of course, is the timer. Listen, I'm all about timers for regular story modes. I wish timers were removed for things like WoBL. Because they just make it skill related. Make it a challenging encounter, which you guys have clearly done, but just take the timers away to allow people to use their skills. Because even if you make one wrong move, you could still get one shot. I'd rather get one shot than have to deal with the timer, personally. To be honest with you. I'd rather have my skill be the problem rather than my math DPS checking, right? So anyways, that's my thoughts on this. I think it looks incredible. I'm very excited for this. I think the power scale, if I remember Alpha saying, was 600k to about 1 million. For the various different modes. So the entry level for free to play is going to be very high and very rough in the beginning. So remember though, as free to play players, you're not meant to be content in the beginning. That's what whales and dolphins are meant to do, right? So for whales and dolphins, I'm very excited for you guys, including my main account, so I can do some testing for you guys and play the game. But for free-to-play players, this is going to have to be a patient scenario where you're going to need to wait and see what happens. You know, and some of you early access players will be able to do it for sure. Global players are going to struggle getting in. All right, guys, again, this is Payne. Thank you so much for watching. Super excited for the content. Also a little nervous about how they handle it all. But remember, this is all leaks, and these can be changed at any time. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.